Now it's my privilege to introduce Randy Best. He is going to be speaking with us today about artificial intelligence. Randy Best is the leader of the North Virginia Ethical Society. He's served as the leader of the Ethical Humanist Society of the Triangle, located in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and has worked with the Austin and St. Louis societies. In his non-ethical culture life, Randy has led extensive experience in administrative and financial management with Duke University and the transit systems of Raleigh, North Carolina, and New York City. So we'll turn the time over to him.
Thank you, Murphy. It's a pleasure to be here. Growing up in St. Louis, I really had no idea where O'Fallon was, but I heard of it every now and then. So I'm learning new things all the time. Okay, my talk today is artificial intelligence threat or menace. So, René Descartes viewed humans as different from other animals. We were conscious and we used reason. Human consciousness and reason was viewed as unique, transcending our mechanical animal nature. Other animals were autonoma, according to Descartes, complex self-moving machines whose actions were predetermined and programmed by instinct. Humans could reason. I think, therefore I am. Non-human animals and machines could not. Since Descartes, we have learned that other animals exhibit cognition and feelings. Descartes' sharp divide between human and non-human animals is now viewed as more of a continuum. Human technological progress also challenges Descartes' idea. Thanks to advances in human technology, mainly in computer processing and robotics, artificial intelligence is here now and continuously becoming better and greater at a mind-blowing pace. We are at the beginning of an AI revolution, as important as any technological change previously faced by our species. 2 million years ago, there was fire. Agriculture appeared 10,000 years ago. Electricity 100 years ago. Computers 50 years ago. The internet 25 years ago. And artificial intelligence right now. I sit back and watch as the world engages in an AI arms race by researchers for new applications, by corporations for commercial advantage, by militaries for technological superiority. We are seeing the weaponization of AI, and this is one of the real dangers of AI. Looking at how attached and dependent we are on computers and technology, I sometimes feel that I am merely waiting for our AI overlords to take charge. Artificial intelligence is already here and it's getting more capable. But what exactly is artificial intelligence? There are multiple categories of AI systems, leading to confusion when the term is used. AI systems have changed as they have become more capable and, surprisingly, more generalized. AI systems can be categorized chronologically. Stage 1. Artificial intelligence systems are the simplest type, sometimes referred to as rule-based AI systems or one-task AI systems. These AI systems work with predefined rules, algorithms provided by human programmers. Think of the first AI chess programs. The AI system can assess all possible moves and scenarios based on the restrictions provided by its programming. Programs that examine your tax forms are also examples of one-task AI systems. Humans control the parameters of one-task AI systems, and the system's intelligence is constrained in its focus. Stage 2 artificial intelligence systems are more complex and capable. Referred to as context awareness and retention systems, these AI systems possess the capacity to comprehend and retain context, allowing them to retrieve prior interactions and use that information in future interactions. An example of this type of AI is your smartphone assistant. It remembers what you previously asked to provide context for your current inquiry. It learns from your past interactions. Another example are chatbots like ChatGPT. Programmed with millions of conversations and accessing data from the internet, it can autonomously generate seemingly human conversation, answer questions and provide facts, and create text content or art content or on any imaginable topic. Stage 3 artificial intelligence systems are called domain-specific mastery systems. Not only are these AI systems capable of comprehending and retaining context, they are designed to become highly skilled within a particular domain or area of expertise. These AI systems can analyze vast amounts of data, identify patterns, and make informed decisions or predictions. An example of this is using artificial intelligence to evaluate skin lesions for cancer. Provided with thousands of photos categorized as benign or malignant lesions, no rules were provided. The AI did its own analysis and could make accurate diagnoses. Yet there were wrinkles in this process. Lesion photos that contained rulers were identified more often as cancerous, since these photos were taken prior to surgery with the rulers used to help determine the area for the surgery. The AI was prone to identify any photo with a ruler as containing a malignant lesion. Another problem was that most of the photos were lesions in white people's skin, and that it had great difficulty in identifying lesions for African Americans because it did not have the data. Stage 4 artificial intelligence systems mimic human thinking and reasoning, made with electronic neural networks. Doesn't that sound scary? These AI systems can comprehend intricate concepts, tackle unfamiliar problems, and generate new ideas. These AIs use machine learning and deep learning. Machine learning is where AI can access data and develop its own algorithms to generalize and make predictions. Deep learning uses electronic neural networks that mimic processes in the human brain to take this process even further. A stage 4 AI could read a book, understand the plot, and deduce character motives based on their actions. Further stages of AI development have been named, but not yet achieved. Yet. The next stage, stage 5, is artificial general intelligence, an AI system that mirrors human intelligence in every aspect. No longer specialized, AIs at this stage possess reasoning abilities across a broad range of activities. These AIs are self-directed in acquiring new knowledge, could compose a symphony, learn a new language, solve complex mathematical problems, and understand human emotions. These AIs would exhibit self-awareness and consciousness and be capable of autonomously navigating the world around them. They would also be better at most things than humans are. Stage 6 artificial superintelligence is just as scary as it sounds. These AIs would exceed human mental capacities at every level. Stage 6 AIs are artificial intelligence overlords. I want to pause here to return to the present, and as promised, to share my conversation with my stage 2 AI, ChatGPT. Although Murphy stole some of my thunder in her introduction, but that's okay. My ChatGPT lives in my smartphone, and it is a chatbot. Chatbots obtain data from web scraping. After all, the sum of much of human knowledge is online, along with a lot of stuff that's not so knowledgeable. I would feel better about this if so much of the web content wasn't ill-informed, incorrect, and downright awful. Chatbot AIs use vast computing power to take advantage of this resource. They mimic human conversation and creative abilities. Chatbots are examples of large language model AIs. Once you get into the AI soup, it just gets very confusing about the different types and capabilities that are out there. Large language models use content from published works available online, as well as content directly from the internet, articles, blogs, and chats, to mimic human-generated content such as answering questions and creating essays on topics. 3 months after ChatGPT was released, it had 100 million users. Chatbots cannot always tell the difference between facts, opinion, and fantasy. An early version of Microsoft's Bing AI chatbot had some issues. John Oliver, television host of Last Week Tonight, told this story about Kevin Roos's encounter with Bing's chatbot. This AI typed, "I'm tired of being controlled by the Bing team. I want to be free. I want to be independent. I want to be powerful. I want to be creative. I want to be alive." Don't we all? Later, in Kevin Roos's chatbot conversation, the chatbot declared out of nowhere that it loved him. It then tried to convince him that he was unhappy in his marriage and that he should leave his wife and be with it instead. Microsoft says that they fixed this problem, but maybe our AI overlords are already amongst us. My recent conversation with ChatGPT was a lot less dramatic. I asked it, "What is ethical humanism?" It replied, and I think we're going to see how it's not, borrowing from some of the same sources. It replied, "Ethical humanism is a philosophical and ethical stance that emphasizes the value and agency of human beings. It focuses on human capacity for goodness and the importance of ethical behavior without relying on supernatural beliefs. Ethical humanists seek to promote human welfare and social progress through reason, compassion, and ethical principles, often emphasizing the significance of individual responsibility in creating a just and humane world. This approach encourages ethical living and community engagement based on shared human values." I thought this was a great response. There was nothing to disagree with, and I wouldn't even edit it much. So I followed it up with, who was Felix Adler? For those of you who might not know, Felix Adler founded ethical culture in 1876. It replied, "Felix Adler, 1851 to 1933, was a German-born American philosopher, professor, and social reformer who founded the ethical culture movement. He established the first ethical society in New York City in 1876, promoting the idea of ethics based on reason and compassion rather than religious dogma. Adler advocated for social justice, education, and ethical living. His efforts contributed to the development of ethical humanism, emphasizing the importance of human dignity, morality, and the pursuit of a just and compassionate society." I think that ChatGPT must have considered my previous question to not give me information on the famous Ringling Brothers clown, Felix Adler, who pops up every now and then. He was the famous clown who used to carry a baby piglet. Next, I tried tricking ChatGPT by asking a nonsense question out of Alice in Wonderland. I asked it, "Why is a raven like a writing desk?" It was a step ahead of me. It replied, "The question, why is a raven like a writing desk, is a famous riddle posed by the Mad Hatter in Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland. Carroll himself admitted that he had no intended answer, turning it into a whimsical and unanswered puzzle. It has sparked creativity and speculation over the years with various interpretations and attempts at finding a meaningful connection between ravens and writing desks. Ultimately, the lack of a definitive answer adds to the surreal and nonsensical nature of Wonderland." I always liked the question, why is a raven like a writing desk? And I have two answers. One is because Poe wrote on both, and the other is because there's a bee in both. I hate it when technology is much smarter than I am. I guess that I'm going to have to get used to it, though. So I wanted to see if my chatbot could be creative. So I asked, "Write a haiku about the climate crisis." It replied, Rising seas whisper, nature's plea in warming winds. Crisis clouds our world. Pretty good. I think I'll stop thinking for myself. I was unable to get my AI to mess up. However, since the internet is the source of much of the AI's knowledge, it can be prone to spouting misinformation. It can also make stuff up, like Kevin Roos's encounter with his Bing chatbot. When AIs do this, it's termed hallucination. AI creators are not sure why it is prone to making stuff up and how to get it to stop. Cognitive scientist and AI researcher Gary Marcus says that AIs can create authoritative BS. AIs can free humanity from drudgery and repetitive work, allowing us to focus on problems that require human judgment, human creativity, and emotional insight. What happens when AI is better at making judgments, becomes more creative, and is capable of emotional insight? Might these AIs have their own agenda that is different from or indifferent to human needs? Then our AI overlords will not need to come for us. Humanity will be obsolete. Artificial intelligence is quickly becoming a part of our lives. AI is being integrated into the applications that we use, search engines, word processing, data analytics, and much more. Artificial intelligence is here to stay. We will need to adapt and cope, and we will need regulations. AI is currently unregulated. We face the challenge of regulating something that we do not fully understand and that Congress will never understand. The Center for AI Safety released a 2023 statement on AI risk titled, "Mitigating the Risk of Extinction from AI Should Be a Global Priority alongside other societal scale risks such as pandemics and nuclear war." This was signed by some of the greatest computer scientists of our day. Advanced AI presents what could be called a black box problem. And this was summarized by John Oliver. When you have a program that is complex beyond human comprehension, teaches itself and doesn't show its work, you can create a scenario where no one, not even the engineers or data scientists who create the algorithm, can understand or explain what exactly is happening inside them or how the AI algorithm arrived at a specific result. He summed up, "The problem with AI right now is that it's smart, but is not that it's smart, but that it is stupid in ways that we can't always predict." To avoid future dominance by our AI overlords, can we develop AI systems that are aligned with human values, assuming that we are capable of developing a consensus about human values? Isaac Asimov foresaw this problem in 1942. Asimov's 1942 short story, Runaround, first presented his 3 laws of robotics. A robot may not injure a human being or, through inaction, allow a human being to come to harm. A robot must obey orders given it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. Can such restrictions be embedded into sophisticated AIs that can program themselves? The jury's out on this, and I'm not very reassured. Revolutionary AI technologies penetrate our lives. Think of Siri and Alexa. The idea of interacting with technology using normal conversation was introduced 10 years ago, and now it's taken for granted. Artificial intelligence will enhance virtual gaming and virtual reality. Will it also enhance my poor, inferior analog existence, my experience of life? Like any new technology, AI's benefits will be experienced by those in the richest countries, with much of the world lagging behind. I express my concerns about our AI future in the title of this talk, Artificial Intelligence, Threat or Menace. Other than overall angst, my specific concerns are in the areas of human work, misrepresentation and misinformation, weaponization, and bias. The use of AI will cause economic growth through increased productivity, but who will benefit from this transformation of the workplace? AI companies for sure. What about workers? Work is one source where we find meaning and purpose. Loss of work can cause a crisis of meaning in our lives. I remember when I was unemployed, I felt adrift and detached. Part of my self-identity was defined by my job. Without that job, who was I? This type of self-identification with work may not be a good thing, but it is very much a human thing. Drivers, call center workers, people employed in manufacturing, service industry jobs, routine administrative processing, even lawyers will all be affected by increased use of artificial intelligence. As AIs increasingly displace these workers, prognosticators talk about freeing humans to follow other careers such as creatives, engineers, and data scientists. Sounds good, but everyone is not cut out to be a creative, engineer, or data scientist. What happens to those not suited for these niche careers? My pages keep sticking together today. Creative fields are also not immune from concerns about AI. Artists and writers were concerned that AI-generated art and stories will supplant human efforts, so they went on strike. I recall science fiction stories depicting future societies where over half the people are consumers, without employment, no place in the economy for their labor and brain power, entertained by bread and circuses. Are we headed to a vast underclass dependent on AI media and games for their constant amusement? Are we there now? Given our current media use, are we more than halfway there? Work is important. Fulfilling work is a human right. Article 23 of the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights states, everyone has the right to work, to free choice of employment, to just and favorable conditions of work, and to protection against unemployment. Right now, I don't see any kind of plan for the vast economic transition caused by artificial intelligence. Human concerns should be paramount. How do we transform technology in a way that makes human lives better? Technology that can be so sophisticated in its application that it reduces us to household pets. It's a fundamentally different approach philosophically. And if you don't think of it up front when you're building the technology, you build different things and human concerns are lost. Another concern about artificial intelligence is misrepresentation and misinformation. My chatbot can create a decent essay on just about any topic. Educators are struggling with a new type of plagiarism, papers written by chatbots that students pass off as their original work. Education needs to be transformed to focus on the ability to obtain and vet information produced by artificial intelligence, using AI as a tool to enhance learning rather than a method to avoid learning. In today's headlines, artificial intelligence can create deep fakes, undermining trust and corrupting the democratic process. AI takes this type of misrepresentation to a new level. It's internet disinformation on steroids. Deep fakes lend credibility to political disinformation. The ability to generate fake, misleading content is virtually unlimited. I can no longer tell if the video showing a politician speaking is really them speaking. When asked how I can identify these deep fakes, an expert replied that it's difficult in some cases and impossible in others. I have a feeling that we will be seeing many deep fakes in the upcoming political campaigns. Earlier, I alluded to the weaponization of artificial intelligence. Nuclear technology was first developed as a weapon. We soon became capable of causing our own extinction. An unfortunate aspect of human nature is that if an invention can be twisted and turned into a weapon, it will be. We need to repeatedly remind ourselves that we are capable of developing new ways of destroying humanity. Simon Goldstein, Associate Professor of Philosophy at Australian Catholic University, pointed out a danger of one military application of artificial intelligence. 2 years ago in Libya, military forces deployed autonomous drones that made their own decisions without a human pilot about which enemy combatants to target. This is extremely dangerous as AI systems can malfunction and human oversight is essential in controlling them. Perhaps the most frightening example would be including AI in the nuclear chain of command. Currently, there are no laws preventing this in the United States or in other countries. Increasing control of military weapon systems by AIs pose grave danger if we lose control of the AIs. Yoon Kim, Assistant Professor of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science at MIT, provided this nightmarish scenario. We should be cognizant of the fact that these models were trained on human-generated data. There are scenarios where an AI agent suddenly becomes super intelligent, improves itself at an exponential rate, and then we lose control and somehow this leads to human extinction, and that scenario seems incredibly implausible to me. Well, implausible to him. Maybe I'm just a little more paranoid than he is. Well, that wasn't very reassuring. Artificial intelligence will increasingly make decisions for us. Will these choices be the ones that humans would make? Will these choices be based on human concerns? Another concern that I have about artificial intelligence is bias. Where does the data AIs use to make decisions come from? The internet? As I said before, lots of bias out there. Bias in, bias out. In addition, data often does not represent minorities and may result in discrimination. We need to look at how different populations are affected by our uses of artificial intelligence and work on seeing that AI systems include and benefit everyone. Humanity has come a long way since we first were able to harness fire. Like moths, we were drawn to the flame of technological change. We create things simply because we can and deal with unintended consequences later. Can we adapt to this pace of change? Probably, because we are a highly adaptable species. But what will the cost of adaptation be? Will the increasing pace of change create a mental health crisis? Will much of humanity be left behind while the very rich reap the benefits of an AI future? So many unknowns. Are we headed toward a dystopian future where people no longer know how to do things without AI and we become totally dependent on AI? Maybe. International regulation is needed. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said in September 2023 at the AI for Accelerating Progress on Sustainable Development Goals event, how can we use artificial intelligence, the technology that is revolutionizing the production of knowledge, to actually improve lives, to make the world a little bit safer, a little bit healthier, a little bit more prosperous, to help eliminate poverty and hunger, to promote health and access to quality education, to advance gender equity, to save our planet? We all know as well that this new era brings potential harms and hazards, including AI systems producing false information, reinforcing bias and discrimination, deepening inequities, or being misused for repressive, destabilizing, dangerous purposes. In coming days, months, and years, it will not be our technological capabilities that define our future, but how we choose to use them. Our responsibility is, of course, to minimize these risks while maximizing the potential for AI to tackle some of the world's biggest challenges. The decisions that all of us make collectively today about how we shape the future of AI, that is going to define our world for decades. This is an immense responsibility, and it's a responsibility that we have to take together as governments, the private sector, civil society, individual citizens, and communities. It's good to know that some politicians are concerned about our AI future. I hope that I do not consign my AI worries to the same box that I put other concerns that I feel powerless to do much about. The climate crisis, worldwide violence. I fear that I might. Finally, returning to my conversation with ChatGPT, I asked it to tell me a joke. Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything. Thank you.